Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to show you how to improve your Japanese short sword. So we're going to improve this thing, the Japanese short sword. But before we go on to how to improve it, I'm going to explain what I mean by reading out a passage from a manual that was written in the 1600s. So when I read you this passage, you'll start to understand what I'm getting at. So we're on Samurai War Stories and we're on page 20, guys, at the bottom. So I'm halfway through something here, but you'll catch up. Right, the enemy fell onto the ground facing upwards. So I could cut off his head with ease, as if he were asleep. The Owakazashi, or greater short sword, is so inconvenient for cutting off a head. There is a reason why we wear the lesser short sword on our armour. I was going to cut off his head as if it was as easy as cutting the head off a sleeping man, and while I was trying to do that, as the enemy was unconscious and hopefully before he came to, I sat astride him, holding his neck with my left hand, trying to draw my Owakazashi again and again. However, the sash where the sword was fixed was loose, so when I tried to draw it, it came out halfway together with the scabbard. The blade of the Owakazashi is as long as 2 shaku, 2 feet, and the scabbard had come out at least 1 shaku, so that's 1 feet or 1 foot. So I had to draw the equivalent of a 3 shaku longsword with just one hand, and I could just not manage it. In the end, I twisted the blade so that it broke the scabbard and it was finally free. This was very troublesome. It has taken a little more time. The enemy may have regained consciousness and might have had my head cut off instead. Modern scabbards, i.e. 1650, modern scabbards do not have a sakazuno, which is a small hook that holds the scabbard into your belt and will not allow the scabbard to come off. People think this is cumbersome nowadays. If my scabbard had one of these hooks, it would have caught the sash, so I could have drawn the sword much more easily. Therefore, I will knock a bent nail or anything else in it just to do for now. Okay guys, what that means is basically he's got a man on the floor, the guy's fell unconscious and get his sword out and cut his head off. But he can't get his sword out because the sword scabbard keeps coming with it. And you know, because a sword will basically be like that. So when he's pulling it, the scabbard's coming out like that, and then it comes out shaku. That comes out so many shaku, and he can't get it out. So therefore, what we do is we put a small hook on the scabbard. These used to be built into the scabbard and actually formed with the lacquer, which is obviously quite expensive now. So what I've had to do is let's find something to help us do it in a modern way. So what I'm going to do is take you through how I did it with using just cheap DIY stuff on your pretty much your practical wakizashi, not a show one you use to beat around and just train with. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and I'm going to show you today how you should sort of fit your wakizashi to make it a bit more traditional, a bit more old school, but I'm going to give you the cheap version of doing it. Now what used to happen in the very old days, probably Sengoku period and early Edo period, samurai would wear their wakizashi like this one, and here, built into the scabbard, actually raised, would be a small hook. Now the hook would go towards the handle, and the reason for the hook is that when you put your obi across, when you put it into your obi, the hook would hook in behind the obi there. You don't actually have to fit it directly in, but it's just about there. That means when you have to quickly draw your wakizashi with one hand, it will come up, jam against the obi, and your, hold on, look at that. So when you pull it, it will jam against the obi, and then you can pull this out with one hand. Otherwise, what happens is, the sword comes up out of the obi, and you can't draw with one hand correctly. So what I've done is, because these have to be made from scratch when you make the saya, and which is very expensive to get done, I'm going to show you how to do it with just a normal little hook. And, so that you can do this. Now in the main I've done this for Natori Ryu students, so if you're part of my Natori Ryu project, then you should be getting onto this as soon as possible. Step 1, I'm going to briefly just spray this. Get it in there. Right, and that then will hopefully be the same colour as the scabbard. Right, and the next, what I'm going to do, let's get that to the side. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to use this, which is a two-part adhesive, which means it's bloody strong basically. So I'm going to use that. It's a two-part adhesive. What you do is you just rip them off, squeeze it a bit, rub it around, and then you put the caps back on to make sure you keep it firm as hell. I'm going to wipe that down to make sure it's got no grease on it. So mix that in. Now we need to make sure that it fits just past the ob here, so it's got a little bit of play and slide in it when it goes in. What I'm going to do is I've put a little bit of a loop in the end of that. It's just some wire, and what I'm going to do is put it underneath, place the end through. I'm going to put glue around this so it binds it together. Now I'm going to try and keep the glue around this area, so hopefully it'll go over the actual steel wire, or brass wire if you will, in there. You can hide it below the brass wire. Now I'm actually going to start close to the hook, the inside of the hook. Right guys, what happened is I had paint and glue all over my fingers, so the camera switched off, so I just carried on. And what I have done is this. So there you can see is the scabbard hook, and I obviously got the what's it called, the metal braiding all the way around, and then obviously the scabbard's black, the hook is black. And what I did is just got very thin insulation tape and I've taped it around like that. So that is, remember, do this only on your you know, your functioning katanas, wakazashis, whatever you want to do it on, because you know, you don't want to do it on an expensive one. This is just a cheap fix to get it sorted. So guys, we've got our hook on it, like he says in the manual. We put the sword through the sash. Sorry guys, just let me get it in. There we go. So curve it round, and as you can see, it hooks on just underneath there. That's where it hooks on. So what happens now is obviously get rid of that wire. Some schools use these, some don't. And what can happen now is you can literally pull it out. That will not, can you see there? That will not, it can pull, you can see that pull, 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 it's out. This will come out before that breaks, if you know what I mean. So there you have it guys. Quickly, if you need to draw your wakizashi, you can do. So there you have it guys. If you need the wakizashi out quick, it's out. And you can get it no problem. This hook will keep it in, and you can stab, you can kill, you can take the sword, sorry, you can take a head, and that's how it goes. Now for Nato Ryu students, this is important. If you're following Nato Ryu, you only need this on your wakizashi. Only put it on your wakizashi. Do not put it on your katana, because there's a special drawer in Nato Ryu which, you know, you can't have it on there because of the drawer. So, and of course we'll do that on the other channel. Some people have it on their katana, some schools do, some schools don't, it's up to you. But generally guys, get it on your wakizashi and get it ready so that you can use it. Right, that's it. My name's Anthony Cummins. I hope you enjoyed that. I know you can't see my face. Let me see some pictures of you getting this done. Let me see how it worked out. Let me see if you're a craftsman, do a better job than me. Anybody got a historical example of this? Or, you know, as anybody actually can do it properly with wood and carve it out and lacquer it in. That would be excellent. So one more time, there you go guys, it comes out. That's perfectly how it should be done. And this was how pretty much all swords, or, you know what I mean, the majority of swords were used in the warring periods or in dangerous times in Edo. You had it, in the Sengoku period, you had this hooked into your belt. Alright, my name's Anthony Cummins. I hope you enjoyed that. See you later, chaps.